Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Roxy Files with Roxy and Shannon. How are you today, Shannon? Shannon, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry. I am good. I muted it for the intro
Forgot
and I
to
was like, oh,
unmute.
good.
Forgot to unmute there, dear. That way. Lovely.
The, see, this explains me right now. I've been the last 24 hours or so just kind of in a state of process mode. So, just, yep.
Yeah, it's a lot to process. Tonight, if you don't know what Mall World, you will by the time we finish this. Prepare for goosebumps possibly and some like oh my shenanigans kind of moments. Um, I
You
ran
could say
across
that
this
again.
TikTok. Yeah, it's oh my shenanigans. Ran across the TikTok the other day, and you know how you're on those, and you're like you watch one after another, and then you're in a oh my shenanigans moment. I realized that I'm like I've been there. I remember that. So then, in a casual conversation, I happened to ask Shannon the other day. I'm like, is does this make sense to you? She's like, oh my shenanigans.
Yeah, just literally. Oh my
Hello,
goodness.
Cash. Hey, Mike. We got a Navops 1067. Have I said that right? Um, Pound cake and coffee. Sure love my baby's pound cake. Pound cake and coffee sounds good about right now, but it's evening here and I'll be need to be jacked up because I've been drinking Black Rifle coffee. Have you tried that one, Shannon?
Oh, I cannot say I have.
It is a company that was created by a veteran. It's a smaller company. I've kind of laid off of the different things after you realize how many chemicals in some of those little K cups. So, but Black
Mhm.
Rifle, oh my goodness, it's good. But I promise you, you are awake after you drink it. It's the morning time.
Well, with my Italian roots, strong coffee is it's a needed thing. I used to make Turkish coffee, and that's pretty much.
Ooh,
I mean, the grounds are still in it, and I
yeah,
love
no,
that
I can't
stuff.
do that strong. I like mine strong with a lot of sugar and a little bit of creamer. Oh, sorry, child calling. She sounds like a So, give me 1 second, guys. Shannon, you want to explain the dream of Mall World to everybody? I'll be right back.
Well, let's see here. How is a good way to start this off? There is this place, this realm within the dream world that thousands, if not millions, of people are conglomerating at night in their dreams. Or if you would like to call it lucid dreaming, I guess that would be the more technical term, but where a lot of us are experiencing on a nightly basis being in this realm in our dreams that is always the same realm, maybe different areas, locations, experiences, but it's always in the same realm. A lot of people are even coming out drawing maps of the things that they've seen and experienced in this realm, and
They're all similar.
they're all similar, and a lot of it seems to be tied to the Gateway program, or Gate, or SOAR, or TAG,
Tag.
or like there's so many different MGM. I've heard there's a lot of different terms for it.
Well, maybe we should start there, Shannon. For I'm sure that most of our viewers who are here probably know what Gate and Tag is. It's the gifted and talented education, or talented and gifted, or they had all kind of different names for it. Shannon and I have had some conversations, and we've pretty much figured out that, as in Harry Potter, that was the sorting hat. One of the first things they did, to the best of our knowledge from our research, this is our theory, and we have looked at thousands of other children who were in this program. If you were in one of these programs, it normally started third, second, third, fourth grade. Sometimes it went on for many years. You were selected for the program and then you were tested. But one of the first tests to our understanding was to see if you had any psychic abilities. When you walked into the classroom, you had a little cup. You only went 1 day a week. For me personally, we actually left the physical elementary school I was at, got on a bus, went to a different school facility, and went into a portable with no windows. When you walked in the room, you drank a little cup of this pink fluid. We were told it was for our teeth. Then you sat down at the table and put these headphones on. Well, what you heard, you can actually look up on YouTube. It is a sound frequency. It's kind of hypnotic. It's called hemisync. It is to make both sides of your brain work at once. And it was almost kind of like being hypnotized kind of thing. But the weird thing is, none of us remember anything after putting the headphones on. Now, I did this for 4 years. You would think in 4 years, once a week, every week, you would at least remember it. If you were considered a special or gifted child, we were doing Russian code, things like that. But you would think some of this stuff, like that kind of experience as a child, you would remember it. I have a very good memory. I can remember, like, I can recall days, dates, times. Like, I can tell you when stuff happened to me and Daniel when we were children, within a week or two. I can narrow it down to what happened where we were at. But we have now started figuring out a lot of these people that are having this collective dream of mall world were gifted and talented kids. So Shannon and I have come up with some theories that maybe this is somewhere they sent us back then, kind of like a catch net, to see if we could astral project or remote view something of that nature. Because there's no way that this many thousands of people are all having the same dream. And we were the majority of us in the GATE program. What's your thoughts on that, Shannon?
Well, I wanted to say this. I honestly didn't realize I was part of GATE. And let me explain this. I have so many memories of all these weird things of doing the ear, the sound tests. I even
Mm-hmm.
have memories of the things on my head along with that, and a lot of other things. But a lot of the stuff that I remembered in my training, or the things that they were doing with us, was entertainment or leadership related. And I was put in a lot of weird things and constantly made to perform, or constantly rehearsing something, or constantly doing all these other things with leadership that I never actually applied for or wanted to try. I was just like put in them, including like leadership camp and all these other things. And I, when Roxy was telling me about her experience in GATE, I would always sit there and think, well, I remember certain things that you're saying, but I wasn't in that program, at least that I thought. And then yesterday, when I learned about this mall world thing being like a thing, because I've just been forever going, I don't know why I'm dreaming of the same realm. I mean, it makes no sense to me why I'm always in the same realm. It may be a different experience, a different place in it, but it's always the same place. And Roxy was like, well, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, well, I don't understand because I wasn't in GATE. Well, it turns out I look up all of the tiers, all of the sections of GATE. The whole intellectual one was like the facade. In other words, like, it's not that they didn't have a certain program with the intelligence part. It's just there was so many more tiers to it. And it turns out they have a leadership one, a tier. They have a creative,
Entertainment.
and yeah, they have a performing arts, the arts, dance. I mean, all of that, it's all included. And I was like, oh my goodness, I actually was in this program. And so for a lot of people who didn't necessarily think they were involved in GATE, but knew they were in some weird school programs, it's actually a part of the same program. It's just not the academic one. It didn't mean that weren't still given weird like code things to break. I remember doing puzzles all the time. I mean, constant puzzles, including, like, there was this lady who was talking about the story what like the story time ones and things along those lines. So I was like, oh my God, I used to do those all the time. That was a thing. It's like, it's just been tripping me out because I didn't think I was in the same kind of thing that Roxy was in, but I had so many of the same kind of weird memories of things. And now that there's this whole mall world or toilet world, which I mean, I have not personally experienced toilet world, and I'm kind of thankful for that. But I've had a lot of other weird water, like I have had the water world experience and, the amusement park thing, like all of that. But it blows my mind that all this time it really has been this space. And I always thought to myself personally, is this some kind of training ground?
Well,
Is this some kind of place where we're supposed to hone in on things? I don't know.
I don't know. Over in the past week, we've actually got somebody in the audience who goes to Mall World with us. I've been to the bathroom in Mall World. I have been to the real estate office, and I've been to this, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a store, but everything in it looks like it's vintage from the 80s, like t-shirts and jean jackets
Mm-hmm.
and Converse high tops. I have a niece who, in her mall world, she's actually in a convertible car. She said, but it looked mini sized. And she's like, she can just pull up to the store and go, "Ooh, I want one of those," and they put it in the car for her. There's all kind of different experiences, but I've actually got a few pulled up. We can look, like some people are going online now that we're all figuring it out, and they're going to AI and explaining it in detail and getting AI to do a rendering.
Yeah, I've seen some
Yeah,
of
the
those.
bathroom is way out. Like, the bathroom is, like, really gross. See, when I go into the
See,
bathroom in this dream, you walk into this bathroom, which almost to me reminds me of like a big the bathroom is huge. It's like the size of a super Walmart in my mind, but it's um it's just like endless toilets. It's like a wall of toilets this way and a wall of toilets that way, and some of the toilets are facing each other, and some are running over, and the floor is nasty. And
see,
I get so grossed out I can't go any further in the bathroom.
I've been in a few bathrooms in this realm, but they've always been like super fancy and like ridiculous, like beautiful, like spotless, clean, white and gold. Like they've never been these gross, endless toilets. And I'm like, why? I'm again thankful I have not been in this realm, but why
Yeah,
is everyone going there and I don't?
I don't know, but there's somebody just, yeah. Uh, the bathrooms are atrocious, and I think that's part of my thing because I have like everything's got to be clean kind of
Oh, I
bug
have a
that
huge
itches it.
phobia of public bathrooms,
Well, I
girl.
walk in this bathroom and there's like toilets overflowing, and you can see that
Oh,
there's like poop and it's overflowing, and
no.
there's pee on the floor. And I remember like looking down at my feet, and I'm like, oh my, I can't go in here, I can't go in here, I can't go in here. So I turn around and run out the bathroom. There are a lot of people that explain that they're waiting in line at the airport and they always miss their flight. So I'm wondering if the different places that we're visiting within, yeah, you get the nasty bathroom too. It's not fun. If the things that we're visiting or whatever we're doing in, how much of that correlates to our real life or like what's on your mind when you're going there. Because
Right.
when the whole real estate office thing started happening, which is totally strange, I'll tell you about that one. My daughter's looking to buy a house. So, we're on the internet, we're looking for houses, and I had this dream. I go into the real estate office and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got a property. Just go down the hall and out the door and you'll see it." Well, when I go down the hall, which seems like it goes on 90 miles before I ever find this door, I finally find the door, and when I step out, I'm like, it's almost like a little path through the forest. I have this dream of building a cabin in the forest, guys. Like, just a cabin in the forest with a hot tub and a fire pit and a telescope. And that's where I want to retire. But in this dream, I walk down this thing in the forest, and I finally see this house like in an opening but it's an old single wide trailer. And as I walked past the end of it, I'm like, is this really what they sent me to look at? Because she was telling me how beautiful and fantastic it was. And on the back of this mobile home, there's like an Olympic sized swimming pool
Yeah.
with like the screened in Florida room around it and patio furniture. It looks like this oasis. So I go back around to the front. I'm like, well, if the pool is this nice, the house can't be bad on the inside. And I go inside and it just looks like it's never been updated. And there's like this dude asleep on the couch. He's not supposed to be there. And he looks like he hasn't bathed in a long time. And I wake him up and I'm like, what are you doing here? He said, just taking a nap. And then he looked really mad. So I remember running out the house and I end up back down the hallway in Mall World when I wake up.
It's funny because you were telling me about that dream the last conversation we had, and I was telling you that I have had the same exact dream of that pool area, and there was a whale in it, but it was behind um like I lived in this house in Mentone for a long time, and my next door neighbor and I were friends, and I'd go over there all the time. And it was actually like the next door neighbor's house, but it was in this realm, even though it was still like a memory of a place that I have been. But that same exact description of that pool area with the whole Florida room thing, then for like all of that, but with a
And the
whale
big
in it.
green plants, and it's got this like patio
Yeah.
furniture that looks like it's so comfortable that it would just suck you
Yes.
into it. It looks like
Yes.
this complete paradise oasis.
Yep.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's the whole thing. But when everybody now is drawing the maps and talking about these conversations, everybody's everybody, not everybody, but the people that we're seeing online, they've been there. And now some people are trying to set up like passwords. Like if you see me, I'll be wearing a red hat. Somebody else has seen the whale. See,
Yeah.
last night I saw snakes. I was in a
Oh, I've
single
seen those.
bathroom, which was very small last night. But since we had this conversation yesterday, when I went to sleep, before I went to sleep last night, I meditated, and I was just calming myself before I went to sleep. And I told myself, I said, remember that when you're in the dream, you're in control, you're driving. And I managed to drive myself into a single bathroom. It was small, might have been like a 6 by 6. The walls were metal, but a snake fell on my head. And I get a hold of the snake and I'm looking at him. And I'm like, who are you? Like, why is there a snake? But anyway, I finally got out of that one after a skunk sprayed me and I woke
Oh,
up. It was crazy. There was a snake and a skunk in a little teeny bathroom with me. But I knew in my dream where I was, that I had finally found a private stall in Mall World. But there are so many people out there that are telling about this. Like these, and I've looked into some of these people. These are not just, like there's journalists, there's Beach World is neat. I haven't been to Beach
yeah.
World.
I've been to Beach World, and I've seen that the lake slash quarry thing. I, dude, when I saw some of these maps that some of these people were drawing, I've been one big goosebump for the
Dude,
last like
let me
over
see if
24 hours.
I'm gonna do a screen share here.
Now, I
Um,
have been to the airport, but my experience with the airport was way different. It was like nighttime, and was some kind of weird, like fancy party going on. And I was like, I don't want to get into too many details, but it was a really weird, debaucherous thing. And it was like some after hours party in one of the hangars. And it was, yeah, I've had experiences in the airport that were not like normal airport experiences.
have you looked at anybody that's drawn the maps?
Yes.
Um,
Yes. There's
Let me
this
check
one
chat.
lady too who had drawn a map so very similar, but just not as well drawn out as one of the other ladies. And she was like, I mean, she had this, came out with this months later, and she was just tripping out, going, no way. this has to be real. It's kind
Well,
of
see now, when good dogs go bad or good dogs do bad things, sorry. She says the airport's always empty for her. A lot of people report like standing in line in this long line at the airport and always missing their flight. Or like there's a rental car spot and they get there in the line and when they get to the front, they're like, oh, we're all out of cars. Some people have talked about the road at the airport, like it looks like a roller coaster, and it says it terrifies you to go up it, but keep following it.
that's weird because the roller coaster in my world is like almost attached to this mansion that is all full of puzzle rooms, like to
Yeah,
get
it's like
out of.
one building stacked on top of another
Yeah.
building.
Mm-hmm.
I got it
But
up on the screen.
my airport experience is it's like you imagine a Diddy party.
Hmm.
Like that was my airport experience, but it was like
Oh
nighttime.
goodness.
Yeah,
Oh, that
that's
was
what
not
I'm
good.
talking about.
That
That's
is
what I'm
not good.
saying. That's
That
like
was not a positive experience, Shannon.
no, no, it was not. So that's what I'm saying. Like I've been to these places, but I don't always have the same experience that everyone is having.
All right, here we go. Here's a good one. This girl here, she's got the mall world drawn out. But as you can see on this little map, like each one of these little places is a different thing. Like, see, she's got non-functional highway. A lot of people say that the highway functions, that you're just scared to get on it because it looks like a roller coaster. It goes up and looks like it goes nowhere. But like, there's beaches and oceans and theme parks and ships and
Mm-hmm.
submarines and wildlife. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just crazy. But everybody's dreaming the
Tsunamis
same crazy stuff.
and tsunamis. That one got me because if anyone's had tsunami dreams, it's like, well, this realm just has a constant one. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Uh, oh, Daniel, you live close to the Black Rifle Coffee facility. I have fell in love with some Black Rifle coffee now. But anyway, um, the dreams are just insane sometimes. Some people and I'm beginning to think if we all are having a kind of like collective place that we're all describing as very, very similar. See, in mine, I've only seen other people like in this area a time or two. Some people say that they see a lot of people like walking around, but like they're NPCs, like they're not interactive.
see, I've had both experiences where it's been like empty or not too many people, and then where it's just filled with people, and I interact with some of them, but but it does seem to be that more NPC type thing. But I've been in massive crowds and around lots of different people in many scenarios, especially in like the casino or
Yeah, I've never been in the
or when
casino, which is
I'm
odd for me as much as I like to play poker. You would think I would have found a
right.
casino by now.
But it's like there are many times where I am with a group of people interacting with them, even though I don't know them. And it is full on like we're in this adventure together kind of thing.
Oh, we got one that says day after tomorrow, everything is frozen and ice cracks on the earth. I've seen that movie. I've never run into it in Mall World. But like I said, I haven't been but like to the vintage store, the real estate office, and I've been to the bathroom a couple of times. And when I go to the bathroom, like time I open the door, it's like my OCD anxiety of cleanliness is just I can't handle it. I can't go any further. I can't go in there. But I'm a clean freak, so I don't know if that anxiety inhibits me going any further in Mall World or not.
Right. Has anyone else experienced the really large boathouse that seems almost like an old, like it's almost seems like it's a plantation kind of vibe, but it's
Um,
a houseboat and it's
when
like off the
Good
lake and
Dogs
you
Go Bad has been going there for 30 years.
holy shenanigans.
See, I
Yep,
have
see?
never
All my life, girl.
well, see, I have never really remembered my dreams until the past few years, and just in the past 6 to 8 months have they become like vivid enough that I remember them when I wake up. And now it started as previous to 6 years ago. It would be a once in a blue moon, just kind of like chaos, didn't mean anything. And 6 years ago, my life changed. And then I started dreaming a little bit, but it was like puzzle pieces, giblets. I couldn't really put it together.
Mhm.
I'd say in the past 6 months, this whole mall world concept has been picking up in the dirty bathroom. And now it's where I'm dreaming every night and remembering what I dream. It's crazy. I don't know. And I had been to the bathrooms and I had been to the real estate office before I knew about Mall World. I just happened across Mall World by accident. Good evening, everyone. Dave said.
You're the
Um,
one who told me about Mall World. I had no idea until yesterday, and I
well, how does
just
anybody
blew
know
up
that the
my
dream?
mind.
Why would anybody ever think that the dream you're having that there are thousands upon thousands of other people having the same dream? I mean, that's just crazy to me.
Oh, in the
The
same realm.
the odds of that are incalculable. I mean, you can't, and the details that other people have that that's so similar, like there's no way. Like there are people meeting in mall world now and they're forming passwords and trying to communicate with each other in mall world so that they can find themselves in the real world. Now, if we go back to the telepathy tapes, which I've talked about a good bit, the nonverbal autistic children, they go to a place called the Hill, which they said is this infinite place of like vast knowledge and it's beautiful and it's light. And if you hear some of them talk about it, you'd almost think it was like heavenly. And like if you wanted to learn a subject like geometry or trigonometry, you just go into a library in the Hill and put your hand on the book and you learn it. Now, these nonverbal autistic kids, which most of them have trouble communicating, know all kind of things, geometry, trigonometry, and they thought these kids were sitting in the corner and were unable to communicate, so they were teaching them their colors and their numbers. And what they don't know is these children can speak 6 and 7 languages, and they know advanced mathematics and science. When they go to the Hill, they are able to communicate with all of their friends. They like meet up there and hang out. And when this was all discovered that there were multiple people that were going here, these kids started once they got them tablets, and they were like touch to speak. They have actually started linking up in real life with these other autistic families that meet on the Hill. And from what I can figure out from watching the telepathy tapes, I think one of the reasons that the autistic children are able to do it so easily and they go where they don't have an ego. They have nothing to gain from it. I think your ability, this is a theory. I've done a lot of thinking on this in the past couple of days. Your anxiety, your ego, the things that you haven't let go of or had a self reckoning about, I think those are part of the things that cause you the anxiety moments in mall world. Because, like the bathroom being dirty, I can totally see that as one of my anxieties. In
Well,
like a real estate office, and you think it's wonderful, and you get there, and then it's a disaster. Because I've
well,
been through that in the past couple of years. I've moved like 12 times in 5 years because of disastrous houses full of mold. But
Well, what's interesting how when you say that is the little bit of research I've done in the last 24 hours. I did come across this amazing lady who's been like she's just amazing with the information that and putting it all together from everybody with their experiences and hers. And she was talking about how it seems like there's like they have programmed extra noise, extra anxiety, extra things for your brain so you cannot fully express your abilities on your own without their control. Like they're trying to stop you and hinder
right, is
you
it a
from
net?
using you. Yeah. So it's like that made a lot of sense to me because
Yes.
I mean, that's like my brain, it never shuts off. And it's like, okay, cool to know. But this is where the practice comes in of how to actually quiet that infiltration and knowing that that is an outside interference trying to block you from your abilities that they decided they wanted to mess with without your permission.
Well, see, some of the things I've seen about, like, because ever since I got deep down the rabbit hole on the GATE program and what they might or might not have done to us in GATE, out of all the years I went to GATE, there's only 2 days I remember. Like, and I'm not going to say that I remember the whole day, but I do remember a project that we did because me, as a fourth grader, I thought this was the craziest thing you could be asking a fourth grader to do. It was a survival competition. They gave us, you remember, you could get like, and you might still be able to, I don't know, coffee in a can, like the
Mm-hmm.
big can of coffee. You would get Folgers or whatever. You had to bring a big can, or it could have been like the big can of vegetables, but you had to bring an empty can to school. When we get to school that day, I remembered we were given a sheet of paper, and on top of that sheet of paper, there was an egg, a match, and you got your can, and you got these like metal snips. That was everything you got. And you were sent outside, and you had to go outside as a fourth grader, a 10-year-old, and figure out how to get that egg to cook. If you couldn't cook that egg so that you could eat it, you failed.
And I
Like, we
mean,
had to go outside and build it. We had to
you're
go outside and take the stove and make it a survival stove and use that one match. You had one shot.
just the fact of the matter that you're a fourth grader and they're giving you fire implementation is
No joke.
enough on its own, you know?
I don't know that I'd trust giving me fire implementation in a survival exercise now. I think it's questionable. But
I
yeah, I
mean,
mean, like, and there's this one day that I remembered, and I don't know why I remember it, but I remember sitting at the table and we had these, like, they were manila envelopes, and there was stuff written on index cards, and they would put it in the manila envelope and hand you the manila envelope between your hands like you were praying. They would stick the manila envelope in there and ask us what was in it. I don't remember answering the question, but I remember my teacher sitting across from me. Now, the day of the survival, whatever it was we done with the stove, there was a man in a suit there. Like, my teacher, I remember her. I really liked her. I had her. This is weird though. Previous year to the GATE program, she was my regular teacher. The year that I started GATE, she moved from being a regular elementary teacher to being the GATE teacher the whole time I was in there. When I think back on it, that's kind of strange. But I remember her very well. I was comfortable with her. When I'm in the fourth grade, I went on Thursdays. I remember distinctly that Friday when I got to school, something started happening. I don't know. They tried to say it was a panic attack or it was anxiety. There is no joke in the theory that I'm telling you. I could hear ants or bugs walking across the floor, like soldiers marching, is how loud I heard them. I could hear the blood in my classmates' veins, like I could hear it. It was driving me insane. Like somebody would turn a page in a book, and it sounded, I don't know, it was just so amplified. It freaked me out. I couldn't breathe. I ended up in the nurse's office. This happened again. The next thing I know, I'm whisked off to a specialist appointment. And if you've ever watched Stranger Things, 11, you see one scene in there where they put this white cap on her head with all of these leads. It's like an EEG for your brain. I remember that part of the specialist appointment. And after that, the like super loud sensitivity stopped. I still have a scar from that cap because they took like a little piece of sandpaper and scuffed your scalp up to make sure those leads made contact. She scrubbed too hard. I still have a scar from it. It left a lump like up under my skin. That or either they transplanted something. I don't know. But yeah, I remember that. That's it. Out of 4 years. It's impossible with the memory I've got that that's the only thing that I remember. I can tell you that in June of 1986, me and Daniel were standing in the front yard, in a conversation we had. But I can't remember going to a special class at a whole. I can't even tell you how they fed us, if they fed us, where we ate lunch at. I don't remember lunch. It's crazy.
Well, I see. I get that a lot. I don't. There's a lot of things that I cannot remember, but all like throughout the years, especially in the last, oh gosh, in the last 10 years, just getting more and more and more weird flooded memories of my experiences. And I wanted to mention this because I haven't talked about it with you much, but I don't know if you're aware of course there was this program of the false memory stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of memories that I did have. And when I talk about them and explain them, not only did it just sound bizarre as I'm saying it, it's like I have the memory, but it's like I remember, like I physically remember it differently. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Well, out here in Loma Linda area, which is like 20 minutes from my house, there was a whole program that started in the, I believe, late 80s, early 90s, that has to do with Project Pandora, I think, something along those lines, but using frequencies like tones and color frequencies and all of those things, um, in understanding, not only to control behavior but again to enhance other superpower like behaviors. And that the guy who developed it was out here in Loma Linda, and I remember a lot of my friends having to be committed to the behavioral center out here, which was where this guy created this whole program with this. And um, those friends never came out the same. I luckily never ended up going into the behavioral medical center, but my parent, someone did try to talk my mom into it. Luckily, my mom was like, no freaking way am I doing that to my kid. But there's still, like, when you drive by Loma Linda, there is some kind of weird frequency that's going on. One time, it actually, like, this frequency, I kid you not, created such a force. It's like a big giant boulder hit my windshield as I was driving past this area. And no, there was no debris, there was nothing that flew out of the sky, and it almost like cracked in my son's face who was sitting in the seat. And there are times where I drive past that area where I feel, I don't mean to be graphic, but aroused, and it goes away once I drive past it, like weird
Oh my
frequency
gosh, who was
things.
it? Who was it? There's a singer that was having this happen. Oh, I can't get my brain to wrap around it. I actually watched a podcast with her on it, and it was somewhere out in California. And she said that every time she drove by it, that she would get this weird
Yeah,
sensation.
yeah.
And
And
she said
see,
like, a mile later it would go away.
yeah, and this is the same. This program is involved with the false memory syndrome program, which I believe started on the East Coast in the New York area. The guy who's in charge of that, but they kind of merged together in like Project Pandora and other things. But the false memory thing has a lot to do with that, and I have a feeling that those hearing tests or whatever they say they were, that they were giving us, not just were there to figure out how you would react to certain things, but they may have a big part in erasing the memory or adding in memory that isn't there or changing the memory into something else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
it's like it has multi-purpose, but like the frequency thing has a lot to do with just that memory loss, the memory, uh, false memories, all those things, and they're integrated with this program that I live right next to. And I kid you not, you can feel that frequency. Like it is every time I drive by there and they're pumping that thing out, it's just you.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I tingly? That is not okay. That's weird. And then move on. And it's like, or you feel angry out of nowhere, or it's messing with your emotional state.
See, this is why we all need tinfoil hats.
Exactly. Oh.
And if anybody doesn't, we've talked about this before. We're having a tinfoil hat competition over on the Supernatural show. You can submit the supernatural.show. I've got it up on the screen. There's prizes. I don't know if anybody doesn't watch the other show or not, but please submit your hats because at this point, Shannon is about to walk away with this competition. Like, there's no joke. Y'all got to see this hat she made. But
I don't count.
the
I don't
actual
count.
the tinfoil hat was actually in the theory and the words statement conspiracy theory is actually something that was made up by the CIA to discredit people who were asking too many questions. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
There was a man that kept telling him he was hearing the radio in his head and he ended up putting a metal trash can on his head to get it to stop. And that's kind of where the CIA joke about the tinfoil hat, and come to find out the man had a radio chip implanted in his head when he was in the military, and nobody had told him he wasn't crazy. So, tinfoil hats and conspiracy theorists, we're not crazy. We're just seeking the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mike
And then
says,
it doesn't mean your hat can't be fabulous. Just saying.
absolutely, hats are always fabulous. All hats are fabulous. But all of the host, the team, um, me, Shannon, Daniel, Dave, and Mike. We're not in the regular competition with everybody else. We're doing our own little competition to the side, but the hosts are giving out prizes for the best hat. Viewers are going to vote. It's going to be a whole thing. All kind of stuff. Like I think Shannon, you've got a Ethiopian Bible
That's right.
that she's giving away. I got a coffee cup and I think a gratitude journal. Daniel's got a coin. We got a plaque. I mean, all kind of cool stuff. We're send in your best tinfoil hat, folks. The only rules are cardboard, aluminum foil, tape, hot glue, that kind of thing. No extra whatever. You can use cardboard for structure.
Or
Has to be covered.
material, like cotton materials and stuff. I kind of,
Right.
yeah.
But anyway, back to where we were at on Mall World. Um, and yeah, there are a lot of people out there that are talking about this, and I'm up under the mindset that if all of us are having this, see, I've looked at people that can remote view and um, astral project, and I've looked into them, to see what truth there is to what they're saying, because you don't know. I didn't see it with my own eyes, so I don't know, and I don't know until I go and do enough research of enough different people to get a consensus of the truth. How many of the stories overlap? This is how I investigate. This is my theory on any investigation. You can have a car accident on the corner in any town at a red light. 10 people saw it. If you separate all 10 of them and they go make a written statement, all 10 statements will be different. Everybody had a different perspective. But at some point in those 10 stories, there will be overlap of the same details, which is where you find your truth. And that's how I do investigation. And then once I think I find the truth, then I try to go back and disprove it. I work it backwards. I can't disprove astral projection. I can't disprove any of this. I've even gone down into the DMT rabbit hole. At the moment when you die, your body doses you with a massive dose of DMT, which comes from your pineal gland, which we know has been being calcified on purpose through fluoride and back in the sticky pokies. Almost said that word, Shannon. Um, if they were calcifying it so that you don't have control over your DMT production or absorption, it could stop you from doing this if this is part of the whole process. There's a purpose that they do everything. DMT can be found naturally in nature. It's not anything to play with. I wouldn't go out there looking for it because it ain't no joke. I've never tried it. Don't know that I ever will. I produce enough of it in my own body. I just got to figure out how to get that to work real well because we not going with no foreign DMT. But our government has tried to eradicate it and made it illegal. Cannabis was not illegal back in the 20s, I think it was. The reason it became illegal is because the hemp plant can be used 100%. There's no byproduct, no waste. Every part of it can be used for something. The bud out of the flower can be smoked. You can put it in oils. You can cook with it. The rest of it, the leaves, the stem, the stalk, the roots, it can all be ground down and turned into clothing, houses, paper. Back in the 20s, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty close on that. It's the 20s, I think. People in power, rich people who were in charge of the cotton industry and the wood industry, saw cannabis as a danger to their bottom line. So, like anything else, they lobby with a big politician, and all of a sudden it becomes illegal. And they put out the propaganda that it's the devil's lettuce and it crazy loco marijuana is what they called it. You can go back and look it up. All of it was a propaganda. All of it was a psyop to keep you away from it. Not only from the profit from the cotton and wood, but what it could do for you health wise. Because if hemp wasn't supposed to be a part of what we do, your body would not have a cannabinoid receptor system. Go look it up. Everybody that is born on this earth that is human has a cannabinoid, which is CBD, cannabinoid receptor system. Your body looks for it. It is part of your body's chemical structure, just like magnesium, potassium, vitamin D, vitamin E, all the other fuels it takes for your body to run. So,
There's a fun fact too that I mean, um, so back in the days of the temple, even the one that traveled, the one that they could break down and travel with, uh, they would burn ganja. That's what they called it, up to God for the fragrance to communicate with God, because God, demanded the fragrance of the ganja to be able to communicate. Along with the whole breastplate thing, there was a lot of interesting aspects to that. But the Rastafari religion actually is based off of more like the ancient Jewish, Ethiopian style way of Judaism. Um, and that's why they are so obsessed with ganja, because they believe that they can, communicate and connect to Yah, which is God, through ganja. So I just thought that was a fun fact.
well, I mean, if you look at okay, look at Chernobyl. We had I say we, they had it's still global, which means it's a part of our environment, our biosphere. They had a major nuclear meltdown over there. How they are healing the land is with hemp plants. When you plant hemp somewhere, it actually will take the toxins out of the dirt, remove them, and get rid of them. It is a plant. It comes from a seed. I mean, there are lots of systems in your body that they haven't told you about or haven't explained to you how it works. See, this whole like mall dream, astral projection, out of body experience, I go back to the fact that now there are probably more of us going to mall world because our pineal gland has been decalcified because we're more aware of what they're doing to us. And yes, Super Dave, I've seen the DMT with the laser seen into a different dimension like the Matrix. We'll talk about that one in a second. But
I have a lot of experience personally in this
yeah,
department.
Shannon knows about the DMT thing and she'll tell you don't try it.
Mhm.
But if your body naturally produces this, it takes, to my understanding, and I'm still trying to get a grasp on this, meditation and thought. Everything in this world is based on belief. Okay, when Jesus did miracles, Jesus went back to his home village, and you see that comment, Shannon?
Yes.
Um, she'll tell you in just a minute, Miss Connie. He went back to his village and could not perform the miracles because the people in his village didn't believe in him. Belief is everything. Believing in yourself, believing in a group, believing in a goal. Your belief and your will is what makes it happen. This is what manifesting is. Okay, you see people out there that are in power. They call him the little orange man. Listen to how he talks. I'm not promoting any political party. I'm not political. But listen to how he speaks. Everything is great. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. If you put out positive, you get back positive. This is the whole thing of karma. If you have bad intention and you put something out, you're going to get bad junk back. This is the whole theory of Jesus. I take care of you, you take care of your neighbor takes care of me. We're all taking care of each other. This is the consensus of mutual care, belief, will. It all works together. Let's see.
Connie, by the way, there is a post on, I do believe, Logic Before Authority in the Supernatural show that shows the Bible that I'm giving out for a prize, the Ethiopian Bible. I chose that one specifically because I read about the people who funded putting that particular publication together. There's illustrations in there, which is nice. And there's also a version that you can put up in the digital realm on your computer or whatnot too, so you can have it physically and in your digital world. So that one is the one I picked. It's on there. I just let me look at the name real quick just so I can let you know. But if you wanted to kind of get a link to it, you can do that. Or again, you could just submit an amazing hat
And win
and be
one.
up for the prize.
And nobody is accusing anybody of, like Daniel today. He put some pictures out, and nobody's trying to be witchy or warlock or anything.
Right.
Nobody's going to make an assumption on your design that you're trying to mock or make anything. Just make it out there. Just go crazy. Make it a crown. Make it a UFO. I've seen one that looked like the flying nun's hat. It was cool. Let your imagination go wild. Have fun with it. That's the whole thing. We are They pick on us about the tinfoil hats, but as we've seen, conspiracy theorists ain't wrong much, especially the ones that do any kind of real research, because that's what we thrive on. We thrive on finding the truth in the lies that they've told. And like I said, I've started watching all these people that astral project, and all these different things. Like there's one girl, she's a remote viewer. If you go back to the CIA, you can pull up all kind of projects and find the paperwork on where they've been training people to remote view since the 40s. But this girl can remote view, and she did an interview, and she was interested in going to Antarctica. And she realized the first time she had traveled into a place that was like a facility you're not supposed to go to in real life, like they don't want you there. She realized that there were actual soldiers that were remote viewing, but they were standing guard outside to keep other remote viewers from getting in. So if there is a whole different plane of existence, so to speak, that you're astral projecting or remote viewing or dreaming in, and they've got military soldiers that are in a chair looking like they're asleep, remote viewing guarding the facility. I got a feeling that mall world is just a net to catch us in so that we don't understand that we can go so much more, so much further. You still there, Shannon?
Yes, I was trying to find the publisher of this particular
Of the Bible.
Bible. Um, anyways, it is posted up on Logic Before Authority, and I believe the Supernatural show and the community posts, like the whole um, breakdown of that and how you can purchase one. But again, maybe just wait if you're gonna put in a hat because you might just win one.
Yeah, hang on, let me see if I can. Da-da, dun, da-da. Mhm.
Well,
But
I'll tell
yeah,
you
I'm
this
interested.
though. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I honestly never realized. Like, I know I've had prophetic dreams. I know I've had the gambit of dreams, but I never really realized or understood I was lucid dreaming like this whole time. I mean, I realize that I've been able to say things or get out of a dream consciously or things along those lines, but I just had no clue that's really what I was doing. But yeah, that's a thing. It's real. Who knew?
Well, evidently, there's a whole bunch of us having this real experience together, which is kind of crazy because if all of this is essentially related to DMT, I am trying to figure out now because see, it's hard for me to explain how my brain works. With like my brain has gone in 9 different directions now on this DMT thing. That if DMT is possibly the key to traveling beyond where we are now, does it have anything to do with things like bipolar? Because a lot of people that have a bipolar episode, they seem to check out, like eyes glass over. They seem to be like an NPC. It's not functioning, or either some of them are in moments of rage, but they tell you they don't remember it. Like they don't. So are they having a DMT dump because they went into a fit of rage or alcohol or drugs? Because I've seen alcohol and drugs trigger bipolar episodes in people. I had somebody that was very close to me in my life at one point that had one of these episodes. I'd never seen it, but I'm telling you, when he had it, his eyes went black, his facial structure changed, his voice changed. It was like a demon walking in his meat suit. It was scary, but he didn't remember anything about it. He didn't do anything wrong. He was going through an emotional time. He acted a little differently, but nothing out of the way that night. But he didn't remember it. So, did he have a DMT dump and did he check out? And I mean, was his consciousness over there playing Mario Kart somewhere?
Well,
I mean,
here's a thought. So in like a lot of folklore and a lot of things along those lines, the cat is considered to be like the one animal or being that can traverse dimensions, to see the spiritual side and all of that. Well, it's a true fact that cats produce more of the dimethyltryptamine substance in their brain. It helps them to hunt at night, and they see that it has function in a real survival type way. But they're always considered like the witch's familiar is usually commonly thought of as a cat. The Egyptians revered the cat and believed that it was a link to the other side, so to speak. And so the fact that they are so in tune and connected and have so much of that, and it's like they can travel dimensions. So maybe it's like opening up that other dimensional space so you can see the spirit world in real time, as opposed to not understanding that it exists or feeling it, but not really understanding that's the spirit world.
right. And that's a good thing there. Just remember, you have all the power in these dreams. It's just not easy. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn. Like last night was the first time within my dream that I could tell I had conscious control. Like I intentionally went into this trying to have conscious control, that I knew I was making the decisions to seek something out. And that was the first time. And when I woke up, I was like, I did it. I did it. I did it. I was so excited. I mean, I knew I had control in that dream. Some of it didn't make sense, some of it did. But I knew at the point when I felt like I was in there and couldn't figure out what was going on, it was like I took a deep breath and I'm like, okay, you can do this. And at that point, I took control. I mean, I fully believe that we as human beings have the power of telepathy. We have the power of possibly telekinesis. I think it's a matter of learning how to take your vibration and frequency and your belief and your will and focusing on that. I don't think it's some superpower. I don't think it's anything demonic. I think it's something that we're all born with. It's just being subdued in us by all the chemicals that they feed us and we're drinking and we're getting in sticky pokies. They don't want you to know this. There's a reason. Like my Willie, he's a farmer. He was a farmer his whole life. There are, okay, just like we were talking about the DMT, it comes out of, you can get it from the mimosa tree, if you know what that is. The roots of the mimosa are actually DMT. It's illegal to take it and like dry it out and have it in bags and that kind of stuff. There were very specific plants on a farm that the USDA would come to farmers and would say like, "Hey, we're having a problem with such and such a weed. It needs to be eradicated. If you see it, let us know. We'll come and treat it because it'll damage your crops." Well, Willie and I had the conversation, and he's telling me some of the things over the years that they would come and eradicate. Every one of them was medicinal.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single one of them had major medicinal. There's all kind of stuff. You can take your phone, everybody. Google has an image search. You can go google.com. In the little search bar, there's a camera thing there. When you go to that camera thing, that will pull up your camera. You can snap a picture of a plant. You see something at a yard sale or Goodwill or whatever, you can take a picture of it and it will find it something identically visually similar on the internet. If it is a plant, it will identify the plant. Once you know what that plant's name is, you take that and you go and search up, you know, natural remedies or health uses for whatever the plant is. It'll blow your mind. Like the magnolia tree, that's a whole natural remedy in and of itself. The dogwood tree, the Bradford pear tree. Down here in the South, they're eradicating the Bradford pear tree. Like they're paying people to take them out of their yards. Said they're an invasive species. I don't see Bradford pear trees in the wild. I don't know where they're invasive at. They're beautiful when they bloom. But yeah, I agree when good dogs. We've all got it within us. It's just been degraded by noise and chemicals and chaos and Wi-Fi signals and internet and these black mirror telephones and televisions. All these movies that we've seen over the years, um, 95% of them are soft disclosure. Okay, the whole Walking Dead. Everybody that listens to me on the regular knows I used to love The Walking Dead, still do. I'm a Daryl Dixon fan all day long. What were they preparing you for? Because I can guarantee you right now, if the zombie apocalypse breaks out, I have a plan. Like I've got my plan mapped out. I know what I'm doing, where I'm going, who I'm bringing with me. I've got like a ABC list. People on the A list, I love them. I got to keep them close. People on the B list, you can come with us. You might be useful. The C list, you're going to be dead weight. I've only got so much food and weapons, and unless you can pull your weight in the zombie apocalypse, I can't drag you along. I mean, this is a survival of the fittest. I've got a list. I've got a plan. But that came from watching that show. And go ahead.
Well, they're definite soft disclosures, but they're also indoctrination
Oh yeah.
devices, because in The Walking Dead, in all these zombie movies, they're always priming you for this type of thing, but they're not priming you that there's demonic force behind it, and there's a whole
No.
nother level aside from just the physical blood and gore aspect. There's like a whole nother level, but
Oh yeah.
there's, you know.
Well, have you ever watched, Shannon, the television show, not our show, the television show Supernatural with Dean and Sam?
Or like,
The Winchesters, Dean and Sam Winchester. It was like 13 seasons. It was just called Supernatural. That was the name of it.
oh, you know what? I never did get into that show, but everyone I know was obsessed with that show. But I
Well, that
never
show,
personally got into it.
it ran for 13 years. It was about good versus evil. There was angels, there was the devil, there was demons, there was hellhounds, there was all kinds of stuff. And like on each episode, it's these two brothers who come from like a demon hunting family lineage. That's what they go out and do. They would look for like kind of like all over the internet, they're looking for like these weird stories in the
Mm-hmm.
newspapers and stuff. They would go follow them up because they could kind of tell it was jinns or it was vampires or werewolves or whatever were causing it. And for a long time watching that show, I never put it together that it's real life. If you go watch that
Right?
show and you pay it attention, they are laying it out in front of you. At the end of the series, there are these things called Leviathan, which are like vampires. They literally turn humans into cattle animals by feeding them this thing called the turducken, which is kind of like the way we do the turkey and the duck and the chicken
Mm-hmm.
at Thanksgiving, but it's called a turducken burger. And once you eat it, you're kind of like obsessed with the turducken, and it turns you in to somebody who wants to do nothing but sit on the couch and play a video game. You just get
Mm-hmm.
fat and lazy and easier to catch. Just like the parasite that the cat puts out for the rat, this
Mm-hmm.
turducken does the same thing. The more I go back and think about that show, I'm like, there you go. Soft disclosure. They're putting all of that evil crap right in
Mm-hmm.
front of you.
Interesting, like kind of bringing it back to the mall world and all that kind of stuff, and bringing Black Mirror kind of in the mix in the whole like metaverse. Like, I'm wondering if all these decades with all of us as kids, this whole dream realm that we all are going to is in a way priming us or trying to understand how to put consciousness in a virtual realm. Because you've mentioned that this is almost like a trap, like this space it's like this place that it was created for us maybe to all conglomerate or train or trap it, however, whatever the actual purpose is. But I feel like the metaverse concept and the whole uploading your consciousness, like there was this whole field of study that we still don't understand that they've used us for in this dreamscape thing, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm beginning to feel like the whole mall world is like we're saying, like a net, like a Faraday cage to keep us in so that we can't go out. Yes, I've seen a lot of people talking about the bathroom as a portal that you need to find the clean toilet and get into the whirlpool, that it's the world, that's how you escape and go to a different realm.
Well, they say too, water world is like all like that must be like the portal central. It's the water world.
It may be, I don't know, but it's a lot of people have, just about everybody's had the bathroom experience in mall world. I don't know if
Not
that's your
me.
initiation, but due to my phobia of dirty things, I can't get much further than the bathroom because I just can't bring myself to go in it. But now that I'm learning to control it, maybe I can get past the bathroom world. Maybe my OCD will let me go a little bit further because I'm still not sure how I got to the real estate office the other night. It was like I was standing kind of like in the what do you call it? The food court. All the stores are around you.
Mhm.
and I end up like over at the real estate office. And I've gone to the vintage store, but I can see there's way more beyond it. But those two things got my attention, and I couldn't go any further. It was like a distraction.
That's interesting because it's like a lot of my experiences, I'll be in one spot and then end up just somehow in the other spot, but not knowing. It's not like I consciously or remember actually going through any kind of toilet water, portal or any kind of portal. It's just like all of a sudden you're there. Like you're walking somewhere, and then the next thing you know, hey, I'm here.
Well, somebody's asking if we've seen the faceless NPCs. I've only seen a couple of people in Mall World, and I can't really say that they had a face or that they were recognizable. I just recognize them as another human, so to speak, walking around the mall, but they're always off in the distance. Like, there are a lot of people that are coming up with like code words. So, I'm gonna tell everybody on the show tonight, if you see me in Mall World, um, mine is Dirty Dancing. That is my favorite all-time movie. It's a me and my sister thing. We used to love to watch it. So if I ask you for the password in Mall World, you're gonna need to say Dirty Dancing. Just saying, come find me, because I'm going back tonight. I'm gonna conquer Mall World until I know how to get out of this thing, because I want to go further. But I'm weird like that. Just saying. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I want to go find out what Mall World's about.
If I had to choose a code, I guess this is what it's going to be. It's going to be dude. It's got to be just like
Dude.
that,
Yeah,
dude.
you can't make it bruh, because half the world is walking around going, bruh.
Yeah,
I
no,
hear bruh one more
dude.
time, I'm going to lose it.
I'm a Southern California girl for life. It will always be dude with me.
Dude. Dude.
dude, dude,
Dude. Like, and
that
yeah,
dude.
I can't even understand most of these teenagers today when they're talking. Everything's like sus and 6'7". Does anybody know what 6'7" means? Because it's driving me
No,
crazy that I don't know what 6'7" means.
I haven't heard that one, so I couldn't
Oh,
tell
these
you.
kids around here, like, I don't know. The best I can figure out from listening to them is like when they're calling bull on somebody, or like kind of like it doesn't matter. They go, "That's so 6'7".
Oh
I don't
my
know if it means
gosh.
yesterday or if it means it doesn't matter or it's not true. I don't know. But anybody out there, if you know what 6'7" is, hit me up. Send me a message. I need to know what 6'7" means. But
Okay, question.
yeah.
Someone brought up job world.
Oh,
Okay. Job world. Question. Is it like for your experiences? Is it your jobs that you've had in your past that you're like stuck in out of nowhere? Or is it some other kind of weird office job you've never had before, or something that you don't really do very office, like in an office space, or something completely different? Or is it the jobs that you do? I just need to know. Put it in the comments.
I haven't been in the job world. I don't want to go there. That doesn't sound.
Girl, I've
6'7"
had
means Lucifer, but I'm sure the kids don't know that. And see, that's one of the things I worry about, Connie. I mean, like my granddaughter, she had one of them little Labubu demon dolls. I I
no,
would have
not the
no idea
Labubu.
why that little doll disappeared and she can't find it.
Oh yeah,
She
darn.
doesn't listen to my show, so it'll be
Darn.
okay.
Those things. Oh my gosh. I had a big old
Evil.
conversation with my daughter about it. I was like, you're never gonna get one of those, right? And she's like, no, it's stupid. And then she has one of the fake ones hanging in her car because she thought it would be funny, like the knockoffs. And one of these days she's gonna find that's missing, and
Past
I won't
jobs,
know
but
and
weird.
anything. Past jobs, but weird. Okay. That
Okay,
falls in
okay.
line. That falls in line with my parts in job world.
you're
Okay,
you're
because
starting you're starting to sound like Joe Pesci out of Lethal Weapon. Okay.
I am Italian. I don't know.
All right. Well, we got one in here that says their password is Demon Slayer.
Demon
Okay,
Slayer.
Demon
Okay.
Slayer. Is there anything in particular that you will be wearing in your dreams so that we can spot you? Like, we want to know how to find each other. Me, in my dreams, I'm always wearing a black t-shirt with jeans and I have purple hair, like
I
violet purple hair. I
I
love
have
purple hair. I used to have purple hair, but I don't do it anymore because I don't do chemicals. But in my dream, I always have purple hair.
I don't even remember what I'm wearing ever. It's not something I've ever paid attention to.
All right. Well,
I know
this
I
is
have
how
outfit changes throughout, but I don't know what.
6 7 is code for 6G, another level higher than 5G. Okay, I got you. That's like their upgrade. I got you. 6 7 means like upgraded. You're top of the line. I got
Upgraded.
it. Um. All right. Well, everybody's gonna try to go to Dream World, and we're all gonna meet up there. Pay attention this time to what you're wearing,
Okay.
or in your mind, try to tie a scarf on your wrist or something so that we can pick you out. We'll come back next Tuesday night and see if anybody's met up. I say let's all meet in the food court and tie a purple bandana on something, and we'll know.
If
Purple
I
bandana in the food court.
if I don't have like the awesomeness yet to like hone in on the clothing, just know I have very distinctive tattoos.
Yeah, I have quite a few of those too. I'm covered in quite a few of those. You can always look behind my ear. There's a semicolon back there. You'll know it's me because my hair is always up. It's like up in this ponytail because I've seen myself in the mirror in the bathroom. Like when I've gone into the bathroom, I turn and there's like a mirror that is like the length of the first wall. And I always kind of like turn and look at myself. And my hair is up in this high ponytail because my hair is like, yours. It goes way down my back. And it's like this high centered purple ponytail on top of my head. It almost made me think of a unicorn the way it was sticking up there so far. I'm like, why can't my hair look like that in real life?
Right? At least you have, your dream hair is phenomenal.
My dream hair is fantastic, by the way. I don't know if I go to the beauty shop in Mall World or not, but I'm gonna give her 5 stars because I be looking jamming in there. I look just like I just crawled off of a Harley, just makeup on, perfect, purple hair. It's a weird experience, but maybe we'll figure out how to master it, and then maybe we'll figure out how to escape the net if that's a net holding us all in into a. It's almost like,
Okay.
and lately I've been studying the hive mind thing, which takes me to Racine, Wisconsin, and the Umbrella Corporation, and all that. That's a whole different conversation.
Now, I do have one more question for our audience and for you. Although I know you said that you haven't had much experience with other people in the realm, but I have personally have had experiences with other like known celebrity type people in these realms, and I've interacted with them. I know, of course, in like my real life experience, I've had these moments too, but I've come across a couple of people who have also said that they have even partied with some of these so-called, like known celebrity people. And I'm just wondering because, I mean, they're already super tied in to the Matrix and sold out as it
Yes.
is. But I'm curious, like, if they really are also stuck in mall world with the rest of us.
I
Like
don't know.
if
I've
they're
heard of
really,
disco in Mall World.
you
Like it's
know,
it's like a Saturday Night Fever kind of disco. I want to go to disco.
girl,
Okay,
I
like
like I said, I've been to Diddy parties in the airport. There's some
no,
shit
no, no,
or stuff,
no.
sorry, stuff, excuse my friend. There's stuff that goes on, okay? In this
I just
realm.
want to
It
go to
is
the
crazy.
disco. I don't want to be in none of that. I just want to go dancing.
Well, I definitely didn't know that I had an option to work with this and this lucid dreaming thing was a thing. So now I know. I'm like, I don't have to be at your scary party. Yay.
Yay, you can
Goodbye.
leave anytime you want to. You are in control. Because last
Exactly.
night when the snake fell on my head, rather than freaking out, I just calmly reach up and get a hold of it. And I've got my fingers pinched behind his jaw so he can't bite at me because his head was like viper shaped, so to speak,
Hmm.
but it had human eyes and it had a particular color, which meant something to me. But it started like wrapping down my arm, and I looked at him and I'm like, you can't bother me. And he just uncoiled. And I like took and just throwed him out of the room I was in. But that was a whole different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, there's been some seriously demonic things that have happened in this realm to me in my dreams. And there have been a few moments where I have consciously, even like literally consciously, called out to Jesus. And I wake up immediately and not there anymore. So that's something to be said. If you are experiencing some, a lot of people have mentioned this that I've also looked into, that they're noticing too that this is happening a lot more to them in this realm, that there are some, nefarious beings within there messing with you. You can consciously call out to Jesus and end it right then and there.
all right. Well, everybody, tonight I'll go to sleep in about 3 hours, and then hey, Wayne Payne, and I'm going to the food court. I will be going to the food court to wherever they sell French fries because Roxy loves taters. Um, Look for me. I'll have something purple on. You'll find me. My code word's Dirty Dancing. Shannon's is Dude. Um,
Dude, like,
we got a
dude,
Demon
you're so
Slayer
hot.
in here as a code word. So anybody that can get to the food court, look for us. We're literally going to try to make this a collective seek mission to find each other. Because these kids that are these nonverbal autistic kids that go to a very similar place called the Hill. There sounds much more pleasant than the bathrooms in Mall World.
Yeah, that's
But
where
they
I
have
want to learn to get to. That's my goal.
the Hill.
I'm
That
like,
is
I want to
absolutely
go to
my
the
goal.
hill.
But I don't think the Hill is contained anywhere in Mall World.
No.
Um, you can tell from what I get from these children that are allowed to go to the Hill. Um, Even
Well,
one of the children that passes away in the telepathy tapes, he still visits them at the Hill, which tells you this is something that takes place beyond the life here.
well, that's kind of why I feel like that's more the actual real spiritual realm, and like the place where angels tread, so to speak, and in opposition of this realm that we've all been in, where it feels like it is constructed, like an
Yeah.
actual constructed dimension that's not of God. And
Well,
I'd like
see,
to find my way out of that.
well, and Shannon and I've had a lot of conversations about this whole mall world thing, and we're kind of leaning toward the fact, since a lot of us are gay kids, that this might have been somewhere they were steering us to back then if they were trying to find out if we had psychic abilities or abilities to do all of this thing. This may be why we all go to Mall World and it's all very similar, because
D-
this was something they focused us on back then. So it's like a collective shared training kind of thing. I honestly believe that the GATE program was to select super soldiers.
do you
I
think maybe it could be like the upside down?
Yes, I wasn't going there, Shannon, but yes.
I'm so going there. I mean, I can't help it.
It's the void is what it is. It's called the void. I weren't gonna get that deep and dark on here, but yeah, it's the void. If you've ever watched Stranger Things, they take 11, who would, in reference when you're talking about self disclosure, this was a real incident. Stranger Things is based on a true story. This wasn't
Montauk.
just yeah, it wasn't just completely made up. Um the upside down world, the dark side, the black goo that you see in there, all of that is relative. This is all a self disclosure type of situation with Stranger Things.
When watching that show and the upside down, because again, it's like mirroring
Yep.
things, but it's not the same. And this is like the feeling I get every time I'm in this realm.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in this dream and really felt happy. Like I was always apprehensive that whatever could go wrong was gonna go wrong right around the corner. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
even when I went to the real estate office in mall world, and I was like, when I leave the real estate office, they're like, oh, there's a house here. And I'm walking and walking and walking, and like I can. It's almost like I can feel the emotion or the sensation that I'm dreading it because I know it's just not going to be what I want it to be when I get there. So whether I drove that theory in my mind that it was negative or positive, I don't know. I can't answer that question. But I know when I get there, it's like half negative, half positive of what I'm seeing or
Right.
feeling, or I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
It's like a lot of the times I've started out in the mansion part, and for some reason that part seems to be the most comforting and the most familiar, but it is the most terrifying to me because it is this endless dark puzzle maze of endless rooms of trying to get out in impossible ways, and
It's like a never ending escape room, so to
yeah,
speak.
and it's like, but somewhat comforting, but it's terrifying. So
It seems
it's such a,
familiar. The
yeah,
familiar is where the comfort comes from, but it's almost like somebody saying there, it's a constant mode of combat. You feel like you're trying to fight to get somewhere, or you need to get somewhere and you can't. There's always an obstacle or something you've got to overcome.
yeah,
Yeah,
every time.
Subversive was talking about he was in, I think that's a he. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I sure remember at primary school taken to the special room, Air Force officer in dress blues, ugly briefcase and other stuff. Yep, there you go.
You had Air Force officers too?
I
Cause
don't
see,
know.
I've had a lot of things coming out in memories of being in Air Force bases and in the hangars and stuff. So that's just, and then them hanging out at the school and all of that stuff. So this is okay. Thanks. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it is a he. Sometimes with usernames, I can't tell if it, and I don't want to say he or she and use the wrong. There are only two pronouns, by the way. Sorry if
Mhm.
that offends anybody, but that's the only thing I'll ever use is he or she. She, because when you take someone's he or she and you call them a they or them, you have essentially removed their identity, and that is how a demon gets into you. Look it up in the Bible. It will tell you in the Bible. Removing and this is part of the whole transgender removing children's identity thing. You're creating that gap for something evil to truly get in. But we won't get into that tonight because we ain't got all night to talk about Melinda and what she thinks about that. But um, yep. So we're all gonna try to steer to the food court in Dream World. We all got our passwords now, or even if you find me in Dream World, you can say the Supernatural show or the Roxy Files, or hey, I watched your podcast the other night. Anything, but we're trying to find each other because I think if we use this collective power of Mall World, as many of us as there is going there, if we all get synced up and we all get linked up, imagine what we could do and where we could go. Think about that one. If we
and
take
to move
all
past mall world
oh,
and
absolutely. Where
and
can
to
we go?
find the hill. Let's find the hill,
That's
guys.
mine and Shannon's goal. We want to find the hill. There's like a checklist you got to have to get to the hill. One of those things is you have to release all ego. You can't have you you can't have any anger, any hate, anything negative in you. See, these autistic children, they don't they don't have any of that. And they're able to go to the hill, but you have to be of, from what I'm understanding, you have to be pure and of pure intention to go to the hill, because it's kind of like they got to give you direction or permission to get there, and there's only a few adults that have told that these autistic children allowed them to get there. So it's, you got to be a good person, so you got to work on yourself.
I'm gonna
And
be hitting my prayer closet, girl.
Well, and we've been on for a while, so I'm gonna let you go right here in just a second. But everybody remember, I've started a gratitude journal every day when I get up. The first thing I do before I get out of bed or go to the bathroom or pick up my phone or anything else, I take a moment to be grateful. Grateful for waking up, for breathing, for being blessed, for being loved. Everything I can think that I have, I say, I am grateful. I am blessed. If you go look in your Bible about what I am is and how you use it properly, all the words you speak have meaning. That's why it's called a spelling of words. Why witches cast spells. I mean, everything has meaning. So be careful with what you say and be careful with your actions and intent because that intent is what will come back and boomerang and give you a black eye if you put the wrong intent out. Let's see. One of Fort 4. Everyone should try and put a green shirt on or something in their dreams so we can easily try to seek out each other at Mall World. Well, we are all going to try to meet in the food court, and purple is the color. That's what we're going to do. Food court, put on something purple. You are in
And
control.
again, if you are still working on how to do these things, it's okay.
Yeah, if I mean,
We'll figure it out. I
we got
know.
time. We
Yeah.
got time because evidently this is something that's that we're all just figuring out. So you need to try to figure out how to get control within it and to be the driver, not the passenger. So work on that control mechanism and try to head toward the food court because there's got to be a food court. It's a mall. I mean, try to find each other. But we're gonna work on this. We'll touch base again on it next Tuesday night and see if any of us met up. If you do meet up with somebody in Mall World, you know what I might do? I think I'll go on my website, theroxyfiles.com. I will make an area on there for us for next week just for uh Mall World conversation. Like we'll have a message board. Like if you think you saw somebody, we'll make a message board for it so we can communicate about it every day on the regular. Last couple of comments. If y'all all meet in a room that has no visible light source with rounded walls and ugly waiting room style chairs around the wall, you'll see some folks that don't look like us. I don't know if I want to see them or not. I just arrived tonight. Was busy recording orbs flying over here at home. Yeah, zoom in on them orbs. Those I got some videos of that. We might touch on that one night, but those are wheels within wheels within wheels. You can find that in Enoch and Ezekiel. All right. Anything you want to finish the show up with tonight, Shannon?
Um, I think we did pretty good on the subject matter. I think the one thing is, especially, if anyone is like me right now, who's just really kind of discovering the connections of all this and you want to look up some more information. I, I'm not really the biggest fan of TikTok, but lately I've been on it a lot more, just getting more information. And I do believe she has a YouTube channel, but it's Banana Rama. Like,
There's some good threads on Reddit too that I've seen.
okay. But, just for like quick access, like she has some really interesting quizzes for you to take to help you to understand some things like, hey, am I part of this? If you're not sure or any of those things, she did have a lot of interesting insight with her experience and others. So it's just a good starting point, I guess, if you're new at it like me. Because I'm just, not that I haven't had these experiences and questions and all of these things, but it's like now all these pieces are being put together that I've had questions on forever. So if you're, just going down this rabbit hole train at the moment, she's a good place to start, anyways, and Reddit, like Roxy had said.
All right. Well, yes, Connie, we'll look at the orb videos next week. I had about 12, you know, like it was the other night and we had a full moon. No stars are visible. It's very light outside. Um, I recorded quite a few and you can zoom in and see that it's like a wheel within a wheel, much like our soccer trophy, Shannon. I've got about 10, 12 of them on
Yeah.
video doing it. Um, but we'll look at that next week. Try to remind me, Miss Connie, if I don't forget that, because I'm way down this small world rabbit hole. Maybe I won't get lost.
Yeah.
But remember, when you
Me
get up
too.
tomorrow morning, first thing you need to do is be grateful and spread love and spread light and be good to your neighbor. Be good to yourself. Believe in yourself. Self power is, amazing. Um, but I love you.
Oh, and hey, real quick, sorry,
Yeah, go
didn't
ahead.
mean to interrupt, especially since you were saying I love you. But if you guys could just kind of take a moment and say some prayers for our fellow brothers and sisters in the UK, because things are getting wild out there right now, and the laws that they're cracking down on are just, I don't even understand what where this is exactly leading to, but it's pretty insane. So if you could just send out some prayers to our brothers and sisters out there who need our prayers,
Absolutely.
because
All the
they're
countries. There's
they're in, yeah.
Yeah, go look at what's really happening because it's not a lot of what you're seeing. And thank you all for coming. I saw you, Wayne. Thank you. I saw, Cash, Mike, Dave, Connie, everybody, all of our regulars, some of our new folks. Uh, Shannon has a page. Hers is called Children of the Most High. Mine is the Roxy Files, and we're also connected to Daniel on the Supernatural Network. He has Logic Before Authority and the Supernatural Show. We're a whole network of us truthers, and we work together to all kind of bounce ideas off of, make sure that we're on the right track. We're not headed down the wrong road. But thank you for joining us. We love talking with you guys. Daniel will be on tomorrow on Logic Before Authority. Shannon, when's your next show?
Thursday evening, about 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard
All
Time.
right, sounds good. So we will see you all on our next episode on the wonderful Supernatural Network, one of our channels. Thank you. We love you all. Sending light and love.